Business Brain, episode 609 for casual Friday, December 20th, Ugly Christmas Sweater Day 2024. Greetings, folks, and welcome to Business Brain, the show where we take some ideas, we take some of your ideas, some of our ideas, we crunch them, we dissect them, we analyze them so that we can each keep on living or start living those charmed lives that we love. Our sponsor for this episode is Vanta.com/brain. That's where you can go to get $1,000 savings. Vanta automates your compliance for ISO 27001, SOC 2, GDPR. We'll talk more about those things in a little bit. For now, here in Durham, New Hampshire, I'm Dave Hamilton.
And I'm out here in the Bay Area. I'm Shannon Jean. Well, I see these Vanta billboards, and I love their tagline says, "So compliance doesn't have to SOC 2." And I thought that was
clever.
Really good. It's something along those lines. I'm paraphrasing.
No, that makes sense. That fits.
It's on the way to the SFO. I've seen them all the time. I'm like, hey, those guys sponsor us. That's cool.
That's great. Yeah.
It's awesome.
I was playing with ChatGPT this week, Shannon.
Oh, you were?
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, I'm always,
Yes.
I say playing with it. I'm using it constantly. And
Same.
most of the time, especially driving home from like gigs or late rehearsals or whatever in the car, I have conversations with ChatGPT.
That's a huge game changer, man. If you're not doing that, it's incredible.
And if I can't think of what to ask, like if I don't have something pressing, I just sort of roll with it. The other day, I said to it, hey, I drive a 2018 Subaru Outback Touring Edition. Tell me the top 3 features that most owners don't even know exist.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Right?
I like
that was it. And only one of them was a hallucination. I'm guessing it was
bad.
probably something in a
30%,
later model year or whatever, but the other 2 were like, oh, holy crap, I didn't know I could do that.
That's pretty cool. I like that.
Yep. I was doing some tech support for myself stuff with ChatGPT, and which is an awesome use case of it. It's not always right, of course, but with tech support, that's okay because you try something and you know whether it worked or not.
Sure.
But I was getting these log messages, and they were just appearing on my screen in a way that I couldn't really copy paste them as text. And so at first I was typing in what the log message was saying. I was like, this is stupid. I took a screenshot of it and pasted the screenshot right into ChatGPT, and it parsed the screenshot and said, oh, yeah, here's what the logs are saying, and did its thing. And so, like, try these things. Yeah. And screenshots work. It knows how to do the optical character recognition on that stuff, and it's great. I love it.
It is amazing. That the voice, that being able to discuss topics, and a big part of it that I love is as I'm having the conversation, it's saving that conversation for me. The next time I go online and I'm on the app, or I'm on the web in ChatGPT, it's everything we discussed is right there. And
one thing that the voice mode can't do, and I'm still trying to figure out why this is a limitation, but it definitely is, and it will tell you that it's a limitation. The text mode now, I can ask it, hey, search online for me and look for X. If I want something current, the voice mode,
can't do that.
Its database is fixed as of October 2023 at the moment. It'll keep getting updated, but it won't do live searching. And I'm not sure why that is, but I'm sure there's a reason, and it just is what it is. But that's the only limitation of it, because we were driving home from a concert and I wanted to know something the other night, and my wife and I were talking, and I'm like, well, let's just ask ChatGPT. I have it. The new iPhones have the action button.
Oh yeah, you have that.
So I just have I have the action button. Actually, I have I need to flesh out the script. Right now, it is just the action button. But what I want to do is have it only do that if I'm in CarPlay mode. Which you can do with scripts and shortcuts and stuff.
Because the ChatGPT icon is not part of the CarPlay.
No,
screen.
I don't know why. Well, my guess is Apple asked them not to make it part of CarPlay, because otherwise they definitely would have. So.
Yes, I think so.
Yeah.
So now with Siri integrating ChatGPT, maybe you'll be able to, I don't know.
It sucks.
Far, yeah.
It sucks. The Siri ChatGPT integration, well, it's fine if you haven't use ChatGPT directly. And then it's
it.
like, oh, this is what a disaster. Why do I have to jump through all these hoops? Yeah.
That is amazing. Yeah, that is crazy.
So
fascinating.
Also on the AI front, Shannon, Grammarly.
Yeah.
Grammarly acquired Coda. If you don't know what Coda is, it's one of these all in one sort of, it's like Notion, which has been a sponsor for us for a long time.
That's right.
It's one of these kind of, all in one platforms where you can sort of organize a project or your life and have all kinds of different things. And it's got links to or hooks for external stuff. And very, very AI leveraged in terms of what Coda's doing.
Grammarly acquired them, or they were.
Grammarly acquired them, and Grammarly's also AI leveraged. I
love it.
Yeah, we use the term AI. Really, we're talking about machine learning, which is something Grammarly's been doing for a very long time. It all makes sense.
I recommend. Grammarly freed me to focus on my writing, not my grammar and not my spelling and that, and that kind of stuff. And it's not, 100% like most machine learning AI stuff, but it's probably close to 80% to where I get to decide. But I have, and I've used it for, I think since 2019, it's scanned over 10 million words that I've written.
Oh, nice.
I get the email every week. It says how they rate you against other Grammarly users, which I really like. And it's like, you wrote more than 98% of other and I write so much. I'm always like, great. And then if I see it dropping like 92%, I'm like, man, I gotta create some more content, and stuff. So, but I also use it a lot to go back over my old stuff I've written. And to go through and clean, it's like, oh wow, that's horrible. But it's a game changer. And I have the paid version, and it's probably one of the best things I pay for. Yes, it has annoying things like everything else.
Sure.
And people often point that out to me when I mention Grammarly, but it's definitely changed my life.
Hey, I want to take a second and tell you something. If you're out there grinding, building your business, and dreaming of landing those big customers, security compliance isn't just a buzzword. It can be your golden ticket. But here's the rub. Getting your SOC 2 or your ISO 27001 certifications, it's like trying to wrestle a bear in a tuxedo. That's where our sponsor Vanta comes in. Vanta automates the manual, soul-sucking security tasks that slow you down so you can focus on building and shipping. Think of it as your compliance co-pilot, helping you get audit ready fast while still living that charmed life we all aim for. Vanta connects you to VCISOs, auditors, and even pen testers, all the essentials to make compliance easy. Join over 8,000 companies that trust Vanta, from scrappy startups to growth powerhouses and everything in between. Simplify your compliance and get $1,000 off at vanta.com/brain. That's VANTA.com/brain. Stop wrestling bears. Start closing deals. Vanta.com/brain for $1,000 off. And our thanks to Vanta for sponsoring this episode. All right, Shannon. Let's talk about breaking some rules.
Yeah, I really want to. I talk to a lot of people, and I often hear this. I don't want to say they're excuses, but they're guardrails, let's say. And I don't believe in rules are guardrails. They want to keep a certain section of people within the parameters of this is what you can do and this is what you can't do, or this is what's acceptable and this is not acceptable. Right. And so I often remind people about this concept of it's better to ask for forgiveness than permission. I don't want you to do anything that's illegal, of course, that would hurt anyone, of course. But so many rules, most, maybe all, rules are created by people that have never created something from nothing. Okay? And that concept
Or rules are created by people who have created something from nothing and want to stop others from doing it.
Yes. That's a good take on it as well, because they want to create a moat around to protect what they've done. And if you look at big companies, they do this, right? All this, I don't know, I'll beat up on the car dealership lobby now, right? You can't buy a car direct because that's illegal, in this state. Tesla can't sell direct in this state because it's illegal. Well, it's only illegal because the car dealership lobby got together and got their, congressmen and assembly members or whatever to vote to protect their business from other people. And that's not right. But mainly what I'm talking about is things that in your head keep you from getting going and stop you from, whether it's, well, I couldn't get the resale permit because I don't have this thing, or I don't have this form, and it's like, well, what do you mean? You don't have a company name? Just make one up.
Go get one. Yes.
Just make it up. They don't care. Nobody cares. Just call it whatever you want. Shannon's business. Okay, whatever. If you're not creative, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. Most of this stuff doesn't matter. And it's the same like with accountants. I always ask my accountant, okay, can we do this? And the accountants often first answer is no.
They're supposed to be that way. You pay.
Yes.
I always say I want a lawyer and an accountant that are slightly more risk averse than I am.
Yeah.
I don't want somebody that's so far over the line that I can't work with them.
Yeah, because you have to pay the price for that, right? If they screw up, they're not coming for them typically. It's you.
Right.
Especially accountants. So but when they say no, I always ask, well, what's the risk? Is it, hey, if this gets write-off or expense or depreciation gets disqualified, you're going to have to pay some backup interest and maybe a small fine. Yeah. Okay, well, maybe that's worth taking the risk. But if they say, well, if you do this, you go to prison, I'm not taking that one.
Great, thanks for letting me know.
I appreciate that. That's why I pay you. But think of rules. I often say that reality is flexible. Right? You get to make your own reality.
So I have to ask a question about that, because in a recent episode, I put this on our list to talk about. This quote, reality is flexible. You attributed it to your mom. Is that where you got it from?
She taught me that when I was a little kid.
Love that. Love that.
Yeah. And it was little things like, I can remember being in the backseat of my parents' car. They took me to see the first Star Wars movie.
Okay.
And they asked me, what do you think the Force is? And I'll never forget. I was like, I go, it seemed to me like the Force is confidence, and just having confidence in yourself that you could do anything like that. And instead of saying, no, it's some magical thing or whatever, they were like, you're right. And that was one of the first times I realized, as I got older, I look back on that and it's like, they were teaching me that reality is flexible. That confidence that I had, that you could, your parents, great parents tell their kids you can do anything, right? And it's all up to you and this kind of stuff. And it's rules. I've been a rule breaker my entire life. Yes. Has it got me in trouble? Yes. Has it cost me money sometimes? Absolutely.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
Absolutely. But it's also,
and will it cost me money again?
Yes.
Unfortunately, yes. But let me knock on wood just in case I can avoid that. Yeah.
That's right. I don't have any wood around me. I'm in tech center. But it's, don't let the rules stop you. Those rules, I don't want to say that the rules don't apply to you, because they do apply to all of us. But so many of them, there's ways to overcome those rules, or meander by quietly, let's say.
Well, I always say, when I talk about the tax code is a great opportunity to illustrate this, I always say, not my rules, right? But what I mean by that, or usually what leads to the conversation that leads to me saying that, is I'll tell somebody how I'm doing something with taxes, and they're like, oh, that doesn't seem right. I'm like, hey, not my rules. I didn't make these rules up. It's up to me to find my path through them.
Yes.
So leveraging the rules to your advantage. No one says that the rules have to be used for the reasons that the creators put them in place. You can look at the rule for what it is, not what it was intended to be, but what it is. And okay, great. That there is a hurdle or even just a brick wall there. Fine. Can we tunnel under it? Can we go around it? What does this look like? I get that it's to stop me from doing the one thing I want to do, but that's not how it's written. Yep, it's written to stop this one version of this. What's a second version of this? I don't know.
Right. I'm often amazed at the tax stuff when you talk like, oh, you just did this? Well, you can do this and do it. I'm like, what? Really? Is that real? Yeah, look at this. It says it this way. So one of the reasons why very wealthy people, keep their wealth and find ways around paying massive amounts of taxes is they hire people that help them.
Experts.
Get through these things. Yeah. And you know what? We're all able to take advantage of those situations at various levels. And especially if your gut instinct telling you it's some BS rule, I'm telling you, man, you got to challenge it at least and do a little research and ask other people, how do you do this? How do you get around it? I see it all the time. There's a vast dichotomy in social media platforms. Like if you go in the entrepreneurial sections or business sections, like on X, it's like the Wild West. I'm doing this. We're going this. We're doing this. Okay, that's great.
Sure.
If you go on Reddit, it's very different. And people are very quick to point out, you can't do that.
I think that's also true on X. I think it's wherever you find yourself. Like, what's the community? The community on X tends to be, the entrepreneur community on X tends to be very cavalier.
Yes, that's what I mean. That's what I meant.
That's not necessarily, like, I don't think it's... I don't
it's not
see
platform
it specific.
Based, it's just people. Yeah,
it's just that whatever
I
that.
just notice that it seems like I want to get when I'm looking at those platforms because both are really valuable. I learn a lot from each of them. Every time I dig in there, we're talking about keeping your laptop on your together when you're watching TV late at night. Definitely looking at stuff. What's going on? Oh, I didn't know that side hustle even existed. All this. I love it, and. I often just want to shake my laptop and to all the commenters that are like, that won't work. This doesn't that. It's like, hey, you're doing yourself a disservice. Try it. Experiment. Take the Dave Hamilton 2-week experiment. Maybe it needs to be 2 months. But get out there and try it and see what happens. And don't let rules define yourself. Don't let anything stop in the way of being successful and creating the life you want.
Yeah.
That's my rah-rah pitch for Friday.
I like it, man. It's a good path to go into the weekend. Yep.
Yeah, great.
And the weekend doesn't have to be what everybody says it has to be. Do whatever the heck you want.
It's another day.
It's another day, 2 more days ending in Y. Yep.
Got it.
Thanks for hanging out with us, everybody. We love that we get to be able to do this. I certainly do, and I think I can speak for you for that. Yep. And it's wonderful. Thank you for hanging out with us. Send us a note. It's the end of the year. What have you learned from this show? I know our schedules are crazy, and I know you're out there listening. We'd like to hear from you every now and then. So take some of this time and send us a note. feedback@businessbrain.show. We would love to know what you learned from us this year and what you're struggling with, what you want to learn about for next year. Let us know. We'll see you next week. Have a good weekend. Keep living that charmed life.